the rankings within Concacaf, United States. Well done, boys. You're now in 5th place. So much for that golden generation shit. Costa Rica and Panama, Canada and Mexico are all better than us in this new ranking system. That's gotta sting. That's gotta hurt. The first Tim I don't like. I like everybody named Tim. I named my son Tim. And now there's you. You're the first Tim I don't like. I have nothing against Tim Howard. Tim Howard says stupid shit, but, I still like the guy. The truth is you've been liberated. You are no longer attached to someone else's narrative. And the next party you're at, you get to tell your own joke. How about that? That's going to feel good. If you want to statue Diego Luna, then figure out how to be the king of Shittsville. But don't do what he did. Challenge yourself. Try to get better. You will get better. No one cares. You said no one cares about my idea. I'm just telling you, nobody really cares about what people in Minnesota think. Okay, there you are. Here I am. It's that time again. It is summer. I don't know. I hope you're enjoying your summer. We've kind of gotten through the craziness of watching our national team compete in a big competition, failing, but they did compete. They were there. They went to the final. The new polls came out, by the way, for the rankings within Concacaf, United States. Well done, boys. You're now in 5th place. So much for that golden generation shit, huh? I get it. The team wasn't really all the way up to speed. We had some of our guys taking the summer off. We've had very varying opinions on that. Who gives a shit? It's over. But Costa Rica and Panama, Canada and Mexico are all better than us in this new ranking system. That's got to sting. That's got to hurt. Our coach was crying, Mauricio Pochettino, after the loss against Mexico. That got some waves. Yeah, now I know why he was crying. You can continue to cry because this is the worst it's ever been, Mauricio. I still believe in you. I think you're going to figure this out. But a lot of people have some reasons to throw some darts at you for the current state of things. So deal with that. But as I said, it is summer. I'm sporting a pretty good tan, getting a lot of pool time, still losing weight and enjoying the health part. I've said this before, in F1, this is their website. Check them out. It's working for me. Get involved. Figure out what works for you. I said this time and time again. There's 1,000 ways to get healthy. I chose one in F1. That's kind of cool, right? It's a good tagline. Maybe I should copyright that. I don't know. Don't want to steal their thunder, but they're good stuff. The other ones, of course, Califino. Love you guys. Still drinking your stuff. And it is, you can see it back there. There it is, right there. A couple little bottles. They've been there for a while and nobody really drinks them, but I got the big bottle. The big bottle works much better in a big tumbler full of ice, maybe some juice, and a jacuzzi. That's how you live. That's how you get through summer in Las Vegas when it's 105 freaking degrees. Okay, now we're going to do this a little differently today. We're going to spin through about 4 or 5 topics and see how it goes. The first topic is, because it's getting a lot of traction right now, I took a shot at Landon Donovan. Okay, I said I wanted to put a sock in his mouth because of the bullshit that he was slinging with Tim Howard. I still am going to stand behind those words. Okay, Hurt Gomez, not backing out of anything, you dumbass. I told you the first time that I was right about something. You and Sebastian, Mascara Salazar decided to come after me and call me a liar. Not a liar. Everything I said was absolutely true. I don't know why you're such a weirdo about that stuff. And stop wearing mascara. Secondly, Landon is on the docket today. I'll go back in my words to try and figure out what exactly I said, but this is it in essence, okay? I don't like that Landon Donovan is trying to convince Diego Luna to stay in the United States and play in Major League Soccer for the following year so he can prepare for a World Cup. That is not a good plan. It's not, right? No one believes that. What is important is that Diego Luna finds himself in a very competitive environment to prepare himself for the world's greatest stage. And that's what this is. It's being totally and completely prepared for the world's greatest stage. I've had my stories. I've shared them on this program before. Disappointed with the 98 preparation. I wasn't prepared. So anybody that thinks I'm mad or bitter or whatever or jealous, I think somebody on X called me jealous. Come on. No, I'm too old for that shit. I'm not going to fall for it. It's a silly comment. But we need to prepare for this World Cup. Right? Hindsight being 2020, all the things that happened in 94, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. Before the league even started, so we didn't even have a league to a domestic league to play in. So there's never this argument. We had no choice. We had to go to Europe. But I do believe that those are the best environments for our players to be ready for, as I called it before, the world's biggest stage. And that's what the World Cup will be. So I hope Diego Luna figures it out. And I hope he's not stupid enough to take advice from Landon Donovan. And I really mean that. I'm not trying to be ruthless. I appreciate all the comments that say, dude, that was pretty over the top. No, we don't need people following in Landon Donovan's footsteps. And I said this, and I will say it again. We wanted more from Landon Donovan. He chose to take the easy route. He chose to decide where that ceiling stopped. That's on him. That's his problem. That's his legacy, and he got a statue for it. Great. If you want a statue, Diego Luna, then figure out how to be the king of Shittsville. But don't do what he did. Challenge yourself. Try to get better. You will get better because you do have the talent. Staying here, you will stagnate. All right, so that's that. Sorry, Landon. I'm sure you're pissed off about that and you lost some more because I said something, but maybe you should just shave it all off and you'll blend in with the other bald guy that you talk to on your podcast, and you guys can figure that shit out on your own. I don't watch it. I just get clips of it. I don't take advice from trees either. So I'm not listening, but I am conveying a message that to please, if you are going to engage and you're going to talk to the American people, stop polluting their minds with the idea that following in the footsteps of your career would ever amount to something that people like me would respect. Okay? Your failures are not something that we need to follow in the footsteps of. You could have been better. Live with that. Think about that for a second. You could have been so much better than what you were. You made that choice, and that's something that you got to live with. End of story. All right, second topic is the change of schedule. Here we fucking go again. Everybody wants to talk about what happened during the All-Star game. The United States, the MLS All-Stars won that game. Lionel Messi didn't show up. So, surprise, surprise, I don't need to play in this. And the sponsors chimed in. Sponsors were pissed off. Nobody watched it. Their ratings came back. They weren't great, but they're still cool. I mean, it's an all-star game. It's an American tradition. It's something that we do that nobody else does. The rest of the world is like, I'm not doing that. Zlatan chimed in. I mean, look, this is what Zlatan said. Listen to this, because this is when he decided not to play in the all-star game, right? Real world. That's what we're dealing with. The real world. Some people don't even really know what it is. Apparently, there's some guy up in Minnesota who's chimed in on X. I think his name is Tim Braun. I mean, dude, just understand that you live in Minnesota. And I get it that you want to watch soccer games in the summer because that's pretty much the only time that the weather's going to cooperate. But when we start talking about the business of football and we start talking about how we make the soccer better, how we figure out how this league is going to take a big step in the right direction, it is a necessity that the league finally comes to a consensus, I guess that's the right word, to understand that this is in the best interest of the players, for their health, for their well-being, and the business side of football. And if that means that you missed a couple of fucking games in Minnesota, so fucking be it. You got to have to deal with the reality of an offset schedule. And that's what you'll get. And I know I made some geographic lines and you wanted to get all meteorologists on me and tell me that I'm all wrong because the currents and come on, dude. No one is asking Iceland what to do in Europe because of geographic lines, okay? No one cares. You said no one cares about my idea. I'm just telling you, nobody really cares about what people in Minnesota think. You do it under the new schedule and what Minnesota gets, Tim. By the way, you're the first Tim I don't like. I like everybody named Tim. I named my son Tim. And now there's you. You're the first Tim I don't like. I have nothing against Tim Howard. Tim Howard says stupid shit, but, I still like the guy. There's reasons not to like the guy, which should be made public, but I'm going to basically just stick with that. But you're the first guy I don't like, Tim. You'll figure it out. And what you will get when they do change the schedule, and I'll get to that in a second, is you'll get those preseason games against not real opposition, but maybe teams that you might recognize. So you might have an Everton, right? Or a West Ham. They're doing it now. Maybe Bournemouth comes over and you get your preseason game, which is in the sun. You can have a beer, take your shirt off if that's a good idea for you, and enjoy the game. So you get what you want. You want to be entertained. You're not interested in making the soccer better. You're just interested in not freezing your ass off in the winter because the schedule change messed up your plan. Don't care, dude. Don't care. We're going to finish the season in May, and it will still be an opportunity for you to take that shirt off. Don't have a clue what you look like, but you got plenty of time, like me, to get fit. So when the day comes, you can take your shirt off and enjoy the game. Now, the reason why I'm talking about it is Don Garber has now gone on the record to start saying things like, we are moving in that direction, looking at 2027 after the World Cup to change the schedule because it makes perfect sense. Look, we've had this discussion before. I sat down with Don Garber in 2018, looked me right in the eye and said, it's impossible. And then in that previous podcast that I did, what I realized a couple of years after is I was having a conversation with Don Garber, who has very little to zero understanding of what I was talking about. So it was impossible for him to comprehend the information, to digest it. This is a guy that needs a plan, or he needs a bunch of billionaires to push him around or push him in the right direction. And that's what's happening. Those boys out in Miami want this change. And they're the ones that are calling the shots. As long as Lionel Messi is putting on a uniform in Major League Soccer, those guys make the rules. That's the rule. The one with the gold makes the rules. Golden rule. You've heard it before. It's pretty interesting what's going on down there. But the schedule change is imminent. My sources are telling me that the majority, which is what it needs to be, of these ownership groups. Sorry, Tim, out there in Minnesota, your guy probably was on the other side of the vote, but for all the geographical reasons that we just discussed. But everybody else is on board with this because everybody else is on board with this sport getting better in this country. So kudos to Don Garber for finally being pushed in the right direction and figuring out that this is about this league getting better. Now, eventually we will tap out. We're a franchise system. We'll get the 32 and he'll grab a parachute and that'll be it for Don Garber. And we'll have to be dealing with the aftermath of this mess because this is still a scenario where the last guy in is still going to be asking where the money's coming from. So they got to figure out the TV deal. And there isn't the next sucker to put $500 million to pay everybody off. So we're not going to call it what it is because you get in trouble when you do that, but you get the picture. That's what this league is. It's a single entity franchise system that is reliant on new money, not a TV deal, on somebody else entering the fray and writing a big check so that they could all split it and move on. The problem is that last person to write a check will probably never recoup their money. The Peter, the Paul, the whole thing. You get it. Now, once the league turns into a real viable league that is essentially on a schedule, a competitive schedule, which do they figure out promotion and relegation and making a single table? Do we ever have a tiered system? These are all things that we have to change the schedule first to understand how that's going to look. Let me say that again. You have to change the schedule first. It's an integral piece of everything else changing. If you really do the math, and we could spend all day talking about it, then you will understand where I'm coming from. Because this is how this works, right? I'm tired of it. And that's probably why I talk the way I talk, because I'm so fed up with everybody that I literally just don't give a fuck anymore. I don't. I'm being honest with you. I'm telling you the way things are. I don't care what color the Kool-Aid was that you drank, but this is the real world. Thank you, Zlatan, for reminding us. And he never drank the Kool-Aid, and he never will, because he's real too. By the way, bow down to the man. The guy wins everywhere he goes, outside of Major League Soccer. But don't feel bad, Zlatan. Don't feel bad at all. Winning doesn't matter in this league, so it doesn't really count on your resume. Let's go with that. All right, so Lionel Messi is the third topic today. I think we're done with that schedule change. It is imminent. It will happen 2027. Timestamp it. There it is. Into July 2025. I predicted it. There it is. All right, done with that. Lionel Messi doesn't show up to the All-Star game. Are we done here? Okay, great. That's enough on that. It's not anything that shouldn't make sense to anybody on the outside looking in or on the inside. It is something that the sponsors mandate, that the players go, and then they all go and tell you how honored they are to be there, and they get a little money, or maybe it's in their contract, but this is about the sponsors, and this is about TV, and then when no one watches, the sponsors get pissed off, and Lionel Messi stayed at home having a mate. That's it. All right, so the next topic, this is the fourth topic on the day. Stephen Colbert has been given his walking orders. Now, a lot of things have happened, a lot of conspiracy theories about why he got let go. And I'm just going to be honest with everybody, because he had a shot at me, and I've documented that. He said nobody knows or cares what sports bra I was wearing. Who's Eric Wynalda? Exactly. And he took a shot at me. Okay.
We all remember when Brandi Chastain tore off her shirt after winning in 1999. No one remembers what Eric Wynalda's sports bra looked like. Who's Eric Wynalda? Exactly.
Whatever. Stephen Colbert is a perfect target right now, I guess, if I wanted to take a shot at him. The way this works in the professional arena actually is when you play against somebody and someone kicks you, and you got to wait for the schedules to line again when you get your chance to get retribution. And that's what you do. When somebody hits you hard or you don't like somebody, you wait for that game. Sometimes you wait a couple years. You know that when that game's coming up, you're watching the rosters of the games prior to that, making sure that the guy that you want to hurt or hit is going to be in the lineup. And that's the way it works. Now, obviously, this is after his shot at me, but I was willing to wait that long. I'm going to give a whole different podcast on this topic. But Stephen Colbert, your show was losing $40 million, and nobody watches late night TV anymore. I think that's your excuse. Stop saying that you don't trust the CBS guys, and you think you got railroaded here, and people are out to get you, and you got sabotaged. No, man, people just didn't want to stay up anymore and listen to that shit you were slinging. So you got canceled. Now, the good part about Stephen Colbert to me is that I really think that he was a puppet. I think that's what a puppet looks like. And maybe some of those ideas were his, maybe they weren't, but let's face it. He had 200 people working for him, and he doesn't write his own jokes. They write the jokes. That is somebody else's narrative, and he just got to be the one that went front and center with that weird ear. Have you seen that? Go look it up. He's got a weird ear. Really strange looking. I don't know what's going on there. But this is his time. He is no longer a part of the system. He is no longer a part of their narrative. This is his chance, really, to be Stephen Colbert. Well, I actually think there's some potential in there. I've seen you dance, dude. I did see that. Here, this is him dancing. Yeah, that's probably not your best look. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm a better dancer. I'm just saying that's something I can't unsee. And that was really unfortunate that you did that. However, this is your chance, dude. I mean, whether you are a liberal or you're just pissed off at Trump, you don't like him. The truth is you've been liberated. You are no longer attached to someone else's narrative. And the next party you're at, you get to tell your own joke. How about that? That's going to feel good. I don't even know if you're funny. We'll find out. But I'm actually thinking that, to your words, he might be a nice guy, but nobody cares. That's how I feel about you, Stephen. You might be a nice guy, but I never cared. So good luck in the wild. Good luck out there, buddy. I hope that this works out for you, and we get introduced to the real Stephen Colbert, because I'm convinced that wasn't it. That was just a puppet. So good luck again.